Hello everyone, and welcome to my EastEnders Media News channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. A delightful surprise and some exciting news are developing in Walford, according to EastEnders spoilers. George Knight and Jr., his long-discussed but never-seen son, are going to square off. George has recently been through a lot. He had to reluctantly get back in touch with his adoptive parents first, where he was shocked to learn some sinister facts about his history. It became out that Eddie Knight had reared George with his wife, Gloria, after killing George's father. Junior, George's kid, will undoubtedly cause a stir in the BBC One soap opera when he eventually appears. Continue reading. Spoilers for EastEnders. George's ordeal takes a turn. Spoilers for EastEnders have been attempting to reappear in George's life. George is being used as a pawn in the evil character's trial for a murder with racial motivations. The reality about Eddie's behavior sent George into a tailspin, making for an intense episode that generated discussion. In addition, George confronted Eddie and had him imprisoned. However, George's season of heartbreaks is far from over. Spoilers for EastEnders suggest that Gloria, his adopted mother, had a heart attack and died because she couldn't take the stress. George was unable to deal with the loss as a result, particularly because they were only beginning to patch things up. George eventually started using bare-knuckle boxing as a way to vent his rage, but it's wearing him down. Spoilers for EastEnders claim that medical professionals advised him that a single knock to the head might be lethal. The unspoken tension between George and Cindy endures in the middle of everything. It even resulted in a kiss that would endanger his union with Elaine Peacock. However, the drama isn't going to let up anytime soon, particularly now that a new figure is involved. Dramatic reunion of George's estranged son. Spoilers for EastEnders reveal that George's estranged son will finally appear in the London-based soap opera. He's going to stir things up in the family and the town, no doubt. Micah Balfour, a beloved character on Emmerdale, talks about playing a character used to dramatic plots. Additionally, the actor portrayed Dr. Jermaine Bailey in an Emmerdale scandal when he had an affair with Belle Dingle. Nevertheless, Micah is overjoyed to be a part of the soap opera that he grew up watching. My career's most surreal experience was walking onto the square for the first time, he continued. The actress is appreciative to work with performers from soap operas like Colin Salmon and Harriet Thorpe. In conclusion, he characterizes Junior as a complicated individual who is sure to cause trouble. Executive producer Chris Clenshaw claims that Junior's presence will allow George to reveal his background. The persona will lay the groundwork for a fascinating drama. Watchers will soon realize that Junior is more complex than meets the eye. In any case, Micah has already started filming scenes, so be sure to watch for Junior's screen debut. Next week, EastEnders will include dramatic scenes as George Knight's son Junior Knight makes his long-awaited debut. It was recently disclosed that actor Micah Balfour had been cast for the role of Junior in the popular BBC One soap opera, and that Junior was on his way to Walford. Nonetheless, rumors circulated that Junior is concealing something and managers are mum about what brought him to Walford and the reason for his rift with George. This week's scenes will see George experience vertigo from his recent fights, nearly passing out. Phil Mitchell and his ex-girlfriend Cindy Beale push him to visit the hospital, where he is tested. At that point, George has a CAT scan from the doctors, who find that he has a brain ailment connected to frequent head trauma. He is in serious danger as a result of the bouts and his injuries, and one more battle could endanger his life. The doctor warns George to cease what he's doing since one blow to the head could kill him. Next week, Cindy discloses that George is prepared for a fight since the Knight women try to talk him out of it, but he doesn't budge. While Anna tries at the last minute to break up the fight and leaves a message for Junior, Gina tries in vain to blackmail George out of the fight. Later in the week, George calls off the fight because he is shocked to see Junior in person, suggesting Anna's plan is working. Later on, Junior settles at Albert Square and has an unanticipated romantic relationship with a Walford resident. Junior feels uncomfortable at the Vic, so he thinks up an excuse to go and goes to Peggy's. Junior first meets Bianca Jackson at Peggy's. After they get along, they return to Bianca's and spend the night together. When George tells Junior everything about Eddie's trial and his true identity later in the week, Junior has even more reasons to be concerned. Actor Micah stated that Junior will create a stir when discussing his new part, referring to the character as complex. "I'm excited to be joining the EastEnders cast as a member of the Knight family," he declared. "The most bizarre experience of my career was entering the square for the first time because I grew up watching the show and have known many of the characters for as long as I can remember. It's an honor to collaborate with Colin Salmon, whom I've admired for a long time, as well as the incredible Harriet Thorpe and Kelly Bright, as well as Francesca Henry and Molly Rainford, who are explosive on screen. Junior is a complex man who will create some agitation, therefore he's a fascinating character to play." In the moments to follow, George Knight, Colin Salmon, will have yet another shock, coinciding with Eddie Knight's, Christopher Fairbank, trial for the racially motivated murder of George's biological father, Henry Kofi Asare. While Eve Onwin, Heather Peace, is undecided about a major life decision regarding her future with Suki Panesar, Balvinder Sopal, Jack Branning, Scott Maslin, is getting closer to discovering the sixth greatest secret in other scenes. Finally, Yolanda Truman, Angela Winter, is the talk of the town as Jean Slater, Gillian Wright, intervenes to help Jade Massoud, Elizabeth Green. 1. Due to his birth mother, Eddie Knight blackmails George Knight. In Walford, Cindy Beale, Michelle Collins, is looking forward to spending her first Mother's Day together with her son Peter Beale, Thomas Law, daughters Gina, Francesca Henry, and Anna Knight, Molly Rainford. However, George is having a hard time adjusting at the Vic after finding out that there are no DNA matches for him and that his biological family cannot be located. It is imperative that George disclose his heritage to the girls before the family departs for Jamaica, as stated by Cindy and Elaine Peacock, Harriet Thorpe. Gina and Anna are shocked to learn the truth about Eddie and the trial, and George grudgingly accepts. Elizabeth Council plays George's adoptive mother Gloria Knight, who calls the bar after Eddie forces her to urge George to stand up for him in court. After paying them a visit, George tells them not to get in touch with him or the girls ever again. However, Eddie discloses that he knows something about George's biological mother, but he won't share anything with him unless George provides him with a character reference in court the next day. 2. A strange guest approaches George. George is inconsolable as he considers Eddie's deceptive demand, and his loved ones are terribly concerned for him. In an attempt to support George in his choice, Elaine invites grandson Johnny Carter, Charlie Suff, to discuss the legal ramifications of making a statement in court. However, George is still confused until he has a heart-to-heart with Linda Carter, Kelly Bright, which inspires him to follow his instincts. Thanks for watching if you like this video, so please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and don't miss any updates.